A big hand to our firefighters, Local 186, who are doing all the cooking for you tonight. Then our brothers from the Teamsters Local, who are serving up the libations that makes the dinner work really well. Elected union brothers and sisters, activists and friends, it's my honor to present my brother, our Executive Director, John Riley.
Since we last met, there's been a couple of labor leaders that have left us to go to the big protests in the sky, to enjoy the retirement that they worked for. Two gentlemen in particular who were awarded with our Lifetime Achievement Award. Frank Daniel, who was president of Firefighters Local 1186, and Bruce Gorley, business manager for IBEW 180. And recently, the community of Vallejo lost a great friend in Chip Carter, who passed away last week. Anybody that does anything in Vallejo knows Chip. I'd like to have a moment of silence for those three individuals and anybody else who might have left us in the year that you'd like to think about. All right, here we are. Let's give everybody a round of applause for coming out. Thank you to Firefighters Local 1186, my brothers and sisters who did the barbecue, Pobletti Foundation, all the tips tonight, and we're going to be asking for more tips, so if you want to support the Pobletti Foundation, our good friend Patty Pobletti, who we have partnered with in her quest to turn gun violence into a positive by turning guns into art and by promoting trades in our schools and as a whole. But thank you very much for our volunteers. I know I'm forgetting somebody and I'll hear about it later. Before I start, I want to thank my wife and G. Anthony's wife, Kathy Riley and Kathleen Phillips. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. So, I saw the list of elected officials that came in the door, and if I introduced you all, we'd be here till 8:30, and I have a deadline. Would all the elected officials please stand up? And the one thing that I would like to note, that there are a number of those elected officials that stood up that our Labor Council didn't endorse, whether it was their first time, maybe this time. But they had labor in mind and the honor and the dignity to show up and celebrate our working men and women, and we thank you very much for doing that. It's all about relationship building. So thank you very much. We have a couple special guests. We have our new city manager, Greg Nyack, from the city of Vallejo, and his wife, Cindy, in the crowd. We have the city manager of Fairfield, David White, here. And one of my new closest friends, we want to welcome Heather Henry into Vallejo and Solano County, who is now the Executive Director of the Workforce Development Board, which we are very much in support of. Heather, thank you so much for coming. Anybody else and everybody else that I should have, could have, or would have acknowledged, see me later. This is about the folks that have worked their butts off for the last year, maybe for the last 10 or 15 years, on behalf of working men and women in Napa and Solano County, and that's why we're here. Let's give them a round of applause before they even come up.
Thank you all for being here to honor the men and women of labor and all the great work that they do. I couldn't help but think when you were going through the little routine about the over 50, over 60, and when you got down to those under 40, thank you young people for being here. You are our future. You are our future, and you are so important right now. I was thinking about my two sons, who would have been the last to have sat down, both of whom are union members. So I'm real proud that they grew up in a family that recognized the importance of labor, and they went on to realize that themselves. One of whom is very, very active in his union. But you guys are so important because there's no way to explain it. There's no way to beat around the bush. We're in trouble in this country right now. Things in Washington are haywire, and the only way we're going to fix it is come November, we're going to have a wave. We're going to have to take back the House. We're going to have to take back the Senate. And we're going to have to put this guy in check, because everything that every one of us in this room care about and have worked the majority of our adult life for is under attack with this White House. And it's going to be young people that really lead the charge. Today I participated in some gun violence prevention activities in one of the schools in our district. And I got to tell you, the student leaders are on fire. We can be thankful. We saw a little bit of out of Parkland, Florida, in Roanoke Park. They were spot on today. Young people are going to be making a difference. And just look at the changes in the Florida laws since the young people got involved. I wonder if it has anything at all to do with the fact that there are 300,000 17-year-olds in Florida today who will be eligible to vote in November. So the young people in this room, you are leading the way. We know you've got our backs. We appreciate it. And every one of us will be with you, and we're going to work real hard to make sure we're successful in November. So thank you all very much.
Everything that Mike said is so real and so important for our country, and I can't even imagine what Mike has to go through every single week going back to Washington, D.C., and fighting the great fight for all of us in this room. I, on the other hand, get to drive an hour and 15 minutes up the road where we have a supermajority of Democrats working hard for working people and doing a pretty damn good job. I can tell you, I feel so fortunate to be in the California State Senate, where we are getting things done. When you take a look at what got done last year with transportation, with parks and open space, with housing, 2 or 3 different bills, they're going to bring real money to affordable housing in the state of California, and homelessness, which we know we have a huge problem. But you know, you can't rest on your laurels. We still all have work to do, and we're continuing on the pathway of creating more jobs and more union jobs here in the state of California through these initiatives that we're running. I want to thank you all very, very much for all your support, and let's keep working hard for working people in the state of California. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I'm so pleased to be here on the spring event. First of all, as they both have said, we're working really hard to make sure that we have additional jobs in the state of California. And it didn't come to more, it happened so wild this year with the catastrophic events, right? We had all these fires, and how labor came and helped us so many times in all of these. So I want to thank all of you. But we have a lot more work to do. We have houses that need to be built. We have projects that we're working on helping to prevent forest fires, and we need some of your help on some of those. We're looking at doing some tree demolition. We're looking at biomass. We're looking at geothermal, keeping good jobs in California. So just be assured that I will be there for you. I've been there. I know that John Riley thought, I don't know about her at one time, right, John? And I'm honored to be endorsed by you now, so thank you very much.
Hey, if you believe that labor rocks, say yeah. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute, that's like a pebble. If you believe that labor rocks, say yes. Yeah. Let me tell you, the reason why it rocks is because each and every one of you do more than just talk and rhetoric and meet and just you know, kind of just give that language. You have leadership that is strong. You have a resolve and a purpose that drives you, and you have a mission that is your foundation upon which you stand. And the values that come with labor is what makes us what we are today. And I want to give a shout out to John Riley for your great leadership. I want to give a shout out to Dan Bernardini back there, his great leadership. And then also to congratulate Brett as well, and to just commend each and every one of you for taking time out of your schedule, which is what you do, to make sure that you provide the support needed for labor to be as strong and powerful as it is. So thank you. It's an honor to be here with you tonight.
Nicely done. And I thank you all for showing up, because this is our most important event where we honor those that do the work above and beyond. Whether it's our members, our affiliate leaders, our elected officials, or our community allies, these are the people that make the labor movement in Napa and Solano County what it is. Sorry, G. So, our Labor Partnership Award, and this award goes to those that we feel that go the extra yard for our members. They're usually given out to elected officials who we know that we can go to, that we can tell them what our position is, and that they're going to listen to us. Because you know what? We've already interviewed them extensively. We know that they share our values, and we rely on that to get labor's agenda moving forward. Our first award is a very close friend of mine, somebody that probably should have been up here a while ago. His first election, he said that, you know, there was a runoff, there was like 3 votes, and I said, "You got this thing, man." And he looked at me and thought I was crazy, but he's now on his second term, my good friend, Rick Vaccaro from the city of Fairfield. I've known this man for, gosh, going on 20 years, very active in the Vallejo community, been a friend, been a very hard teller of truth as far as the labor movement and what we had to do to accomplish what our goals are. But the man has always been very upfront and honest with me. He's never lied to us or our members, and we honor him tonight, and that is Mr. Hermes Sunga from the Vallejo City Council. Accepting the award for Hermes Sunga tonight is Hermes Sunga. Thank you so much, my friend. It's nice to get you. Congratulations.
That's fine.
Here, get a picture.
Another candidate that we did not endorse first time around, but turned out to be a very refreshing change that was needed in her community. Always the first one to pick up the phone, always the first one to call if she has a question. And that's Miriam Abadamas, American candidate city councilwoman.
We need a box right here.
Our next series of awards, Labor Activism Award. And we give these to those folks that we feel that, you know, the labor movement needs a little bit of a kick in the butt. We always need to have those that will advocate for us no matter what. And this year we have 3 winners of that award. And the first one When we talk about labor and others needing a kick in the butt, this person is just the one to fill the bill. Known her for a long time. We've had our differences. But I know that deep down, we can always count on this woman to fight for working men and women where it counts. And this year's winner goes to Lynette Henley, Democratic Senator. I know she's over here going, what? And you know what? She's an educator, she's a teacher, but I didn't give this to her for her work for CPA. I gave this to her for her work on the Democratic Central Committee. You know how much help we need. And you, young lady, are just what they need to make sure that they're going to stay on the straight and narrow. And thank you so much for everything you do. Last year we did something different, and we gave our labor activism awards to G. Anthony and my wife, Kathy and Kathleen. And you know, there's so many people that do so many things in our community, and they're amazing people. But they always have somebody that's standing behind them, that's doing the work, that's always there for them, that you always know you can count on. And this young man fits the bill. Because I'll tell you what, his wife is doing amazing things, but as I get to know Cicero, Estrella, more and more, you are a rock, young man, and thank you very much for all the work you do. Get on up. Labor Community Partner Award. So this award is intended for those that not only employ union members, they support the union movement, they run a business, and their main concern is the people that work for them. And so this year, we're going to honor, from Maryland Dry Dock, Christina Snyder for the work that she does in the community. That's right, that's you, girl. And I have to tell you, when we're talking about jobs for union members, we're talking about turning our island into an island that can celebrate our education, that can celebrate our industrial past, and can employ working men and women. And Christina, thank you so much.
I know. It's important stuff. Yes,
Thank you so much. Labor Champion Award. These are the people that make up the core team of the success of the Napa Solano Labor Council. Without their efforts, without their volunteerism, without their advocating to their affiliates on our behalf, we wouldn't have a Labor Council. We are the Labor Council that can, right? We're the little engine that could. We have the densest population in Napa and Solano County where union members live in the state of California. Unfortunately, they don't all work here, so we don't enjoy the per caps that San Francisco and Alameda, all those big labor councils get. But we do what we can. So our very first award, this young lady came to our labor council 2 years ago and made an immediate impact, level-headed, an activist to the core, has a very great story to tell about how she got where she's at. But Shakima Carlos from asked me, will you come up and accept your award, please? Sue Kimba, where you at? Oh, girl. AFSCME is one of the biggest unions in the United States. And the work that they're doing right now is incredible as far as addressing the threats that we were facing from Janice. Sue Kimba, welcome. Whenever you're doing this work, you need to have somebody that you can rely on that's going to make sure everything's there, that's going to do the heavy work, that's going to be able to organize. And that's our friend from CSEA and one of our board members, Mr. Fred Davenport. Come on up here, Fred. You might recognize Fred when you were parking, telling you to move or to lock your car or do something. That was Fred. This next gentleman came to our Labor Council a few years ago, immediately started being active, got on our board, shows up to any and all events. Buck Donnelly, will you come on up here and accept your award, sir? Buck Donnelly from the Communication Workers of America. Where are you at? I know you were here. Buck got the email about flip-flops or bow ties.
Jump the Hawaiian shirt.
Ah, there you go. This guy's been around for a long time, done a lot of work, works for a very large affiliate that moves a lot of dirt. Always supports us. His mom's here. Jim Jacobs, will you come on up and get your award, my friend? This is so long overdue. You know, I was going to wait till the end, and if I might make a plea to your mother, don't let him go home. Everybody wants to congratulate him when he's done.
Hey, Jimmy.
And I ran into this young lady a couple of years ago when they were once again going into negotiations with the county, and everybody gets a little bit crazy during negotiations. This young lady impressed me because I knew from the very beginning she had her members' best interests at heart, and that she wasn't going to take any shit from anybody. And when I announced this, there's going to be some folks in this room who are going to go, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Joanne Gaudreau, SEIU 10-1. Get up here. 1986, my brothers and sisters did the tri-tip. This young man, 2 years ago, 4:30, the same event. Dinner time, 6:15. 4:30, my guy calls me up and goes, hey, the firefighters are here. They want to know where the meat's at. And that was like one of those big moments because they were supposed to get the meat and, you know, I'm speed dialing Domino's Pizza. In an hour and a half, they got 100 pounds of tri-tip. The firefighters came through, as they always do, identify, adapt, and overcome. Mr. Toynbee, thank you so much for all the work that you do on behalf of us and your brothers. He was recently back in Washington, D.C. with the president of the International, and I see a bright future in your career. Young man, thank you for the food. Young lady has been around ever since I've been in the movement. Toils up in Napa, advocate for any and all working men and women that do the job that we do. But she's a little bit more special because she also spent her career taking care of our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, our brothers with California Nurses Association. Karen McNair, would you come up here, please, and get your award? Is Carol Witcher in the house?
Wait. Everybody in, nobody out. Yeah. Everybody in, nobody out. Everybody in, nobody out.
You go, sister. You know, one of the things about my job, and especially when you've been doing it since 2001, something like that, right? You see a lot of folks come and go. You work with people that are so dedicated, and then you celebrate the fact that they get promoted, they move away, and somebody else comes in and do that work. And somebody came into our horizon about a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago, that made such an impact. It was incredible. You know that the teachers, CTA is like our big sponsor, right? Our biggest sponsor tonight. And if you haven't heard, charter schools are pretty high up on their priority list, right? Rabble, right? Charter schools, good, bad. We got to educate people up. We got to make sure they're charter schools that are part of our school district so that they have the funding. But this young lady ran a little bit of a program a few months ago that was awesome. And so Dawn Kova from CTA, would you come on up and get your award, young lady? And for those of you that haven't seen Dawn, you will. And for those of you that haven't heard from her, you will. And we thank you very much for doing what you do on behalf of your members and ours, Dawn.
You can shake his hand. Congratulations.
I'm on it. Gee, I'm on it. Monday through Friday.
Saturday and Sunday. New on the scene, very well respected by their affiliate and the members. We ask our affiliates to nominate who they feel are those folks that are out there doing the work. And I haven't known this young lady for very long, but I know that she's out there toiling, and especially in an area up in Napa where we kind of think that the social and economic justice gap is like here, right? And you're going to see us coming. So all you folks up in Napa, we'll be having conversations with you. But Jan Sharp from SEIU 1021, would you come on up here and get your award? And we thank you so much for the work you're doing.
Napa Valley College.
The next two awards are our special awards. A number of years ago, there was a young lady from SEIU 10-1 that decided that she didn't like the way things were going in Solano County as it related to the people that she worked with, and so she ran for supervisor. Had never ran for office, not even a union office before. And she got her clock clean. But we spoke almost every day during that campaign because she was very passionate about what she did. She wanted to make a difference. And you know, in politics, there's a reality to every situation. There's only so many people that you can support. You rely on loyalty. And Becky Benton was a person that took the defeat, learned from it, was motivated by it, went out, got elected to the board of her union, ran a campaign to run again so she could do it right. And unfortunately, she developed a brain tumor and died before she could realize that dream. And one of the best and worst moments in my life was sitting in her hospital room giving her this award so that her family could know how much we appreciated everything that she did for us. So we have an award called the Becky Benton Memorial Courage Award. And we give those to our members who we know are fighting a difficult fight, that are willing to do whatever it takes to overcome that and still do great work for their community. And this year is very special for me. I've known this young lady for 25 years. And again, I got a lot of hard tellers of truth out there. All you got to do is read the blogs, right? And I'm married to one. And my kids also tell me what I need to hear. And this person's always told me what I needed to hear, whether I liked it or not. And she's done remarkable work on behalf of her community, labor, and anything that she gets involved with. And she's a very dear friend of mine, Dana Dean. Thank her, right? When I took over for the Labor Council, there were a few folks that had an instrumental impact on me as it related to doing the work that it takes to be a labor leader. And we've tried to honor those. I've tried to honor those folks. A couple of them we talked about passing away. Bruce Gorley, Frank Daniel. Carlos Borba, would you stand up, sir? Yes. One of my mentors from Teamsters Local 315. And we named this award after Lou Franchimont, who was the business agent for the building trades for too many decades. And again, a mentor of mine, a teacher. And so we give our award for our lifetime achievement after Lou Franchimont. And this year, we want to honor somebody that, you know, when I was telling people about the award, and then, you know, we're going to give Brett an award, and I said, how old is that guy? Right? He's not old enough to get a lifetime achievement award. Well, I can tell you what, bulls, you know what, right? Because it doesn't matter if you work for a lifetime, for 25 years, a decade, 6 months, a year. It's the passion that you put into the job. It's the support that you give to the working men and women that you represent. And Brett Risley, I got to tell you, brother, you came on singing, made my life so much easier. I know that your local is going to have a big gap in leadership, but I've met your replacement. You know, in this job, I introduce a lot of people as, this is the new Lou Franchimont, or this is the new somebody else, because that's what people are so used to hearing. But I'll tell you what, Brett Risley, you become one of my dear friends, an associate that I can count on always for support, somebody that's never afraid to stand up and advocate for all working men and women. When we sit down and when we talk about the social and economic justice gap that we're seeing, and the fact that our hotels in Napa, the people that toil make $9 an hour and they charge $500 a room. Now we're trying to educate our elected officials to know that it just ain't right. And Brett is always the guy that I can bring to the table when I'm sitting down with SEIU, Unite Here, any and all, to advocate and to show that solidarity is the backbone of this movement. One vision, one voice, working people standing together. Brett, you're the man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the recognition, but, you know, I've had a lot of help along the way. John Riley, Lou Franchimont, you know, the person this award's named after. Lou took me under his wing when I stepped into building trades. You know, I kind of sat there and was a little bit quiet, kind of watched what was going on, and, you know, Lou guided me through the path, and that man taught me a lot, and you know, it's my honor to accept this award with his name on it. You know, it's all our fight, protecting and progressing workers' rights. Just like John said, it's just not about the building trades. You know, we're all in this together. You know, like the sign says, working people standing together. You know, without one of us, all of us fail. And you know, we just got to keep up the fight for people to have the opportunity for a path to the middle class. That's what labor is about. So I'd like to give special thanks to my good friend, another mentor, kept me on the straight and narrow a few times, helped me figure things out, Mr. John Riley and the executive board of the CLC. The building trades, my brothers in the building trades, thank you. Thank all of you for the help. Sheet Metal Workers Local 104. You know, it's been an honor to be able to serve as business representative for 104. And it's changed my life. Never thought I'd ever take the path towards working in organized labor, but it's been one of the greatest honors of my life. And last but not least, my beautiful bride, my wife, Lydia. My son, Zachary, fourth-year apprentice, going to carry on a tradition. My family, my mother, my two uncles, sheet metal workers, got me started down this path. Thank you so much for allowing me to give this job the 100% that it takes to try and make a difference. Thank you very much.
Last year we started something. You know, we have a lot of men and women in harm's way. One of them is my son, who's a United States Marine. And we always want to make sure that those that are serving our country know that we respect, honor, and appreciate everything that they do for us, whether they're in there now or whether they served in the past. And so Colonel Nestor Aliga is here somewhere. Last year we started this tradition of having our veterans who served our country come up. He's got a pin for them. Nestor is doing some great work right now trying to get our cemetery on Mare Island, who has fallen into terrible disrepair. And so Nestor, thank you very much. We'd like to have you come up.
May I have Lisette Australia Henderson and Dana Dean to please stand up for a moment? Yeah, if you could come up here. And the reason that I mentioned them is on March 29, it's the National Vietnam War Veterans Day. And we had a ceremony at the Solano County Office of Education. And we honored Vietnam veterans, as well as we gave high school diplomas to veterans that were affected by the wars. And it's an event that we're doing every year at National Vietnam War Veterans Day. So I would encourage anybody, if you have any family members that did not get a high school diploma because of the war, to please come and join us for that event. And Lisette is here and Dana Dean is here. And what we will be handing out is these Vietnam veteran stickers, as well as lapel pins that the Secretary of Defense has given us. So please join us.
Dismissed. Thank you so much for coming. We appreciate everything that you've done for us. And we'll see you here next year for our night.